my presentation this afternoon, I'll be providing an overview of the company's operations in 2016, providing some highlights, as well as giving some insights into some of the initiatives that we're undertaking in 2017. And hopefully from that you'll get a good idea of how your company has been performing and, and where we're focusing our efforts at this time. My name is Edward Teddy Alexander. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of tTech. And I'll start my presentation from January 7th, 2016, which I'm sure everyone is aware. On that day, it was a high point for us because on January 7, 2016, tTech became the first Jamaican information technology to be listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And that's something that we are very proud of, the fact that we're the first Jamaican IT company to be listed. For the year, our performance was strong. Revenues increased by 25.4%, moving to 223.1 million. And our profits also increased by 58.2%. Moving from 24.8 million in 2015 to 39.3 million. Big milestone for us was on December 1st, 2016, when the company celebrated its 10th anniversary, and we had a very nice customer function at the Turnover Hotel. The photograph that you see there shows all the team members who were there at the time, and I can tell you the support from our customers was really very good, and we're very happy with the turnout that we got, and it was a good occasion. Another high point, how did our stock price do? We listed on January 7th at $2.50, and on December, the last trading day in December, we closed at $5.30. That's an increase of 112%, so I think it's fair to say that the tTech stock did perform quite well in the year 2016. How did we do it? Well, a lot of it was new customer acquisitions. The company has some specific services that we provide, which I will be going through and speaking about the performance of those services. But a very big focus over the last couple of years has been in growing the company to acquire new customers. tTech is a company that most of our customers, what we try to do is we try to engage with them on a long-term basis, and we have long-term contracts. So it's a recurrent revenue stream that we typically get from our customers, as opposed to where we do specific projects and it's one-off project revenue. So the customers that we have, I do like to show, Chris, what was this slide referred to yesterday? We were at a presentation yesterday. The what? NASCAR. Oh, the NASCAR slide. Yeah, apparently NASCAR shows off all the logos. But this represents not quite all, but a significant number of our customers that we ended 2016. And we're quite proud of the customers that we have, and because some of them are quite significant companies. But what do we do? How did we actually achieve that type of growth? It wasn't just by acquiring customers. And what does tTech do as a business? One of the things that we have realized is that when we say to the public that we provide managed IT services, many people actually don't really understand what we do. So one of the things that I'll be doing now is taking the opportunity to ensure that you, our shareholders, really have an appreciation of what we do as an organization. Our core activity is the provision of managed IT services. And these managed IT services are really a set of services wherein we manage the core or the key IT elements of the IT infrastructure for our customers. The services that we would provide would cover server and network infrastructure management of our customers' security services. We also provide service desk or help desk services where end users can call us for support. And within the service desk, we also manage the workstations and mobile devices that end users in our customers, that end users in our customer organizations use. Within that, we also tie in cloud backup services, and that is a service that we also offer in its own right. I'll speak to that in a little while. In 2016, one of the things that we did was we introduced a new set, or a new suite of remote monitoring and management tools. The reason for that was that the services that we provide actually can become quite labor intensive. And by introducing new tools, what we have been able to do is increase the efficiency of our operations. That increase in efficiency means that it takes us a shorter time to onboard new customers. It also means that we are able to resolve problems that our customers may be experiencing more quickly. Ultimately, what that's doing for us is helping us to also improve the customer experience, which is a very, very important part of what we do. In addition to managed IT services, or as a part of the managed IT services, I should say, we provide IT security services. Now, this has been top of mind for a lot of people, especially this week. I think everybody would have been aware of the ransomware outbreaks or attacks that took place, hurting primarily users, companies in Eastern Europe. However, what we are aware is that these IT security is becoming more and more important, not just to our customers, but throughout the world today. Why? Because the threat or the possibility or the risk associated with a security breach in an organization could be disastrous to a company. It could actually put them out of business, certainly can shut down operations. At a minimum, it's going to result in a severe disruption of operations and fairly high cost to recover. One of the things, though, is that in Jamaica, unlike first world countries, there actually is no legislation or very little legislation in place that forces companies to adopt stringent security measures. There are no standards that have to be met in the world of IT security in Jamaica, nor is there any legislation that requires customers' data to be protected or the privacy of data to be protected. So one of the things that happens that we have realized is that the market, even though everybody says, yes, we need it, when we actually go to market, because there's no legislation forcing organizations to put the security measures in place, they actually hem and haw. Usually the companies sign after they've had a breach and they've had a problem. In countries like the US, there are laws that actually require companies, particularly financial institutions, to have to meet strict standards and get certification in areas such as PCI, etc. So if you handle credit cards, you have to do something. So one of the things we did in 2016 was we focused very heavily on educating the market to increase the awareness of the importance of IT security. And we did that through conducting a number of seminars with organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, the Stock Exchange, University of the West Indies, the ISACA Kingston local chapter, Jamaica Institute of Engineers, and the SIPS, can't remember exactly what SIPS is, Insurance Professional Support Organization. And we also did a few sessions with making presentations to boards and management teams. And there are also articles that we published in the Jamaica Observer on a regular basis throughout the course of the year. Through that, what that did was, in addition to playing our part to increase awareness in the society of the importance of IT security, it also meant that we were helping to associate the tTech brand with IT security. One of the things we realize is that when somebody has a breach, they need to know who to call. So one of the things we want to do is to become that top of mind, that if you have an IT security incident, call tTech. What else do we do? We're very, very active in the cloud services. We actually are a partner with Microsoft, and what we have been doing over the last couple of years is helping companies to migrate their email as well as other services, other applications into the Microsoft cloud. And we also have a partnership arrangement with a company called Asigra. Asigra is actually another Microsoft partner, and it's through Asigra that we are able to offer these cloud backup services. The take-up and the general demand for cloud services is going to grow. You know, it's a bit of a buzzword. You all hear it, you know, cloud is the future. And it is very true. There are no two ways about it. That we are moving into an era where they're going to have very, very few IT servers and so on site or on customer premises. And most of it is, nearly all of it is going to be in the cloud, as we call it. And we are positioning ourselves to make sure that we can take advantage of that trend and be one of the preferred providers to help our companies with the migration to the cloud. Our consulting services started up in, when was it, 2014? Marcel, when did we start? 2014. Marcel Smart. Marcel is our engagement manager for consulting services. Marcel, you understand? Formerly with Grace Kennedy, and then Marcel actually was formerly with Microsoft Jamaica as general manager before joining us at tTech. One of the things we realized was that the managed IT services that we provide, even though we may be a leader in Jamaica at this time, like everything else, it becomes, competition enters and it becomes somewhat commoditized. So one of the things we did was we decided we needed to focus on providing some higher value services. Consulting services very much fall into that realm, and we're very fortunate that we are able to have Marcel join us and lead the development of our consulting team. Some of the things that we do provide help companies with their IT strategy, companies seeking to keep IT in-house. We help them with this, improving the management of the IT services. We do a lot of project management work, and we have also helped companies with preparation of IT disaster recovery plans. One of the things we realized, though, was that to develop the consulting services more quickly, we needed to develop methodologies and so on. Because in some cases we do end up with more mature consulting organizations. So to try and to get up the ladder a lot faster, one of the things we did in 2016 was we entered into a partnership agreement with the Infotech Research Group. Infotech is a Canadian company. It's an IT research organization, and they are regarded as the fastest or one of the fastest growing IT research organizations in North America. Through Infotech, we have access to the research that they do. We have access to their analysts. We have access to their methodologies, their templates, and so on. And through that, we have been able to accelerate the pace with which we have been able to mature our consulting services. Helped us a great deal. Other thing that we have been able to do with Infotech is that they have a very unique set of surveys that we can offer to our clients, and those surveys allow us to really check the health of strategic areas of IT in the organization. So for instance, one of the surveys that we can offer is what we call the CEO-CIO alignment, and what that will do is that will help us to determine whether what the CEO wants is in alignment with what the CIO thinks the organization should be getting. It helps ultimately with the prioritization of projects and other initiatives that the organization undertakes. These things are unique. I don't know of anybody else doing it in Jamaica at this time, and certainly we have found a lot of interest in this particular area. Voice solutions or PBX systems, we do offer that. It is something that we have been offering for a while. It's not a pure service. It actually is currently the only area in which we actually do sell anything physical. One of the things we have tried to do at tTech is we have tried to stay away from selling computer hardware or equipment for several reasons. One is that it has become commoditized, so the margins are very, very slim, and there are many others who are doing it. So we don't see where we can really add any value to that particular area. The other thing is that anybody who has had to deal with customs understands that the importation of physical goods into this country can be a logistical nightmare, and all of these things introduce cost. So what we have opted to do is, by and large, stay with services. However, when it comes to PBXs or switchboards, nobody wants to buy a PBX from one company and then have somebody else implement it. So we actually have partnered with a provider, a manufacturer, a company called Zorcom, and we actually resell their PBXs. We're able to do it, and we're able to compete quite effectively because they have some unique features in their design. But we also, more importantly, it's very cost-effective systems because they're based on open source code. In 2016, we deployed our largest commercial system to date for the Gleaner company, and we have over 400 extensions in use. I see a gentleman here with a Gleaner logo on his shirt, so I can assume he is our customer. Welcome, sir. But we have several other customers using our PBXs. A notable one I put there, the Stewart's Automotive Group, several companies throughout Jamaica, several locations, including Budget Rent-A-Car, Automotive Art, as well as the actual Stewart's companies themselves. And one of the things we're able to do is we're able to tie all of these PBXs together so that when you're calling from, say, Budget in Mobile back to the head office, it's just extension to extension dialing. For other customers, we do the same, and we're actually even able to achieve that overseas. So that, let's say, a Grace Kennedy office in New Jersey calling back to Harbor Street, they actually just make an extension to extension call, and it's all perfectly legal. One of the areas that we have focused on in 2016, or I should say it's before listing, but definitely since listing, is improving corporate governance. Listing on the junior market required us to establish an audit committee and remuneration committee, and those are chaired by Tom Chin and Joan Marie Powell respectively. During the course of this year, we also have established our corporate governance committee, and that's going to be chaired by our chairman, Mr. Philip Alexander. And what we're using to guide us through the charter and the establishment of the corporate governance committee is the PSOJ corporate governance guidelines, as well as the stock exchange corporate governance index. We have done quite a bit of work, attending workshops, seminars, getting ourselves briefed on what are some of the what the requirements are going to be, particularly with respect to the stock exchange corporate governance index. And I think we're well prepared to undertake corporate governance in a way that makes sense for us. As a small company with a relatively small board, we can only move so fast and not too fast, and what we have to do is make sure the measures that we adopt and implement are in keeping with the needs of the company, and we'll proceed at a pace that we can manage. Our board mentor, Mr. Richard Downer, has been of tremendous help to us, particularly as we have navigated our way through that first year of listing, also the preparation of our audited accounts and so on. Richard has a tremendous amount of knowledge of all these processes and requirements and so on. And as our chairman said, he has probably helped us to avoid many a pothole during the course of the last year or so. Managed IT services may be the core of tTech, but the real engine of tTech is our people. What we have in place at tTech really is a very, very talented pool of young professionals. And we work as a team. I cannot stress that too highly. We have many young people in the organization because we have a very vibrant internship program where we recruit young graduates and give them an opportunity to learn what IT management is all about. And happy to say that all of them who we have taken on have been able to offer full-time employment with tTech. The majority of our team members are shareholders because one of the reasons we listed in 2016 was that we wanted to create the opportunity for all team members to become shareholders. We actually did that at the time. However, one of the things is that we did not cater for, at the time, we didn't cater for how to make employees join in after the IPO to become shareholders. So one of the things that we are actively working on is the implementation of a share trust. Joan Marie, our remuneration committee chair, is helping me with that. And what we will seek to be doing with that trust is to have an entity that has the ability to acquire stocks on the open market, and we would in turn be able to offer those shares to employees through incentive or stock option schemes. Where we've gotten to is we're quite advanced, sorry, in that the trust deed has been drafted. We have had consultation with other companies who have similar schemes in place, and we also have been in communication with the stock exchange, who are quite supportive of this effort. At this time, we are not contemplating offering new shares, so there's not going to be any dilution of the shareholding of existing shareholders. So as a result, we will not be required to actually have a general meeting to have this approved. If in the future we do have to issue new shares, then of course that would trigger the requirement for a general meeting and shareholder approval. Other things that we're doing in the way of helping with people and people development, we have started a succession planning program so that we can, cater for the time when others need to move on, or some of us need to move on, as well as creating opportunities for younger members to see a path for themselves. That will be tied in with our professional development program, or performance management program, which we have started the process of putting that together. tTech gives back to the community, and we give back in a way that we believe is endears to our team members. In that basically we have a very simple philosophy. We support communities that tTech and our team members are involved in. So for example, tTech is located downtown, so we support the initiatives of our fellow downtown companies, Grace Kennedy with their 5K run, Digicel with their runs, and so on. And if there are other things happening that companies are doing in the downtown community, we will support that. Many of our team members, they are members of service clubs, they're members of churches, or I think all of us are members of alumni associations. So when there are fundraising events or other activities associated with those entities, we always support them. Of note, I would also add that the Jamaica College robotics team benefits tremendously from tTech. It's not just financial. One of our team members is actually the coach of the team, and he actually is at the statue where he actually was asked to be a judge at the first World Championships earlier this year. So we're happy that Gavin Samuels, that person, is a member of the tTech team. We also support causes that our customers support. So that is our way of giving back at this time. In the future, that may change. We could very well get on to the point where we establish a foundation, and that foundation would have one or two specific causes that it would in turn support. So we will get to that point in due course. One of the things that an IT organization has to do is it has to be innovative. IT is changing the way how the world works. It changes the way how we live. It changes societies. However, it also means that the underlying technologies that we work with change dramatically, and the types of services that we provide have to change as well if we are going to remain current and relevant. So one of the things that we're doing is, we're reviewing a lot of our existing services to see how can we repackage them so that they become more attractive to the market. Other things that we're doing is we're looking to see if we can introduce some innovative financing for our customers. Right now, in many cases, when we go into an organization for the first time, there's a bout of what we call remediation necessary because they may have obsolete equipment, or they may have equipment that's not suitable for the commercial environment they operate in. So one of the things that we do is we actually go in and we recommend that they upgrade the equipment. Sometimes at capital expenditure, they're not willing to make it. So what we're trying to do is trying to find a way to make the financing of that capex more attractive so that we'll proceed. When they proceed with that capex, then it means that it's easier for us to get the managed services going with them. We are exploring some other opportunities. There's a document management system in Canada that we're looking at right now. We're also talking with some of the traditional vendors who sell equipment. While we may not have an interest in selling equipment ourselves, there are services associated with the installation, deployment, and management of that equipment. So we're seeking to see if we can become one of the preferred service providers. And there are international opportunities that come to us. There are companies who we have, I wouldn't say partnerships with, but we have associations with. They work regionally, and sometimes they actually come to us and say, tTech, can you do this? And in many cases we'll say, yes, we can. So we actually are exploring some of those opportunities to provide our services outside of Jamaica through that mechanism, through that medium.
Whether you're in the business...
What do we do? All right. What we've done is we've created a little animation ad, which was actually done by a young entrepreneur who is sponsored to attend a conference in Montego Bay in December last year. And this, I'm going to be closing with this little animation because we believe that it really just says very succinctly what tTech does for our customers.
Whether you're in the business of car sales, fast food, or insurance, technology is vital to your operations. To collect data, to communicate, to deliver. But are your IT resources able to focus on strategy and growth? What happens when a server crashes at your office? The IT team is busy fixing, but you can't process inventory or client data. So while you wait, the business suffers, and time is money. As a car owner, you wouldn't ignore your vehicle's performance until it breaks down with you on the road. You would have it serviced regularly to guarantee your engine is always running at its optimum. In your business, technology is the engine that grows your company, and tTech keeps it serviced. At tTech, we manage customers' IT infrastructure to detect and fix issues before they become problems. This allows your IT team to focus on managing important data and applications for growth. For an affordable monthly fee, we'll provide management, monitoring, technical support, and full problem resolution so you stay productive. Want to grow your business? Call tTech today.
Another thing we're doing is we're just refreshing how we promote the actual services that we offer. It's an example of a flyer that's being developed at this time and should be finalized in the next couple of weeks. What's our outlook? Companies are increasing, or organizations are increasing their use of information technology. It's not going to stop. For tTech, the year has not started quite as we expected. It's a little flat, but the demand for our services is very, very strong. The companies are calling us, asking us to come in and help them. During the course of this week, we actually had companies that called us because they had problems trying to mitigate the risk associated with this ransomware. So we actually had to do some CPR work on a client last night. But some of the other things we're focusing on is that we still have some foundation work to do to manage and the growth that we expect to experience. So we are constantly trying to improve our internal processes and efficiencies. We will execute on some of those new opportunities that we deem to be viable, and we're going to continue to develop our people. The professional development program that I spoke about earlier is very important to us. The other thing that's very important to us is continually finding ways to improve the customer experience. We have a saying in tTech that what we strive to do is we strive to deliver to our customers an insanely good customer experience. And that is something that we actually hold as a bit of a mantra inside the organization. It's become part of our DNA. Even from when new recruits on board in that first week, they come away. If they remember nothing else about tTech, they'll remember that what we aspire to do is to deliver an insanely good customer experience. And in Jamaica, that certainly is sadly lacking. I'm sure very welcome when we do achieve it. And improving corporate governance. Growth cannot be unmanaged. It cannot happen without making sure that the proper controls and measures are in place to ensure that everything is being looked after properly, particularly the finances. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. But in closing, I'd just like to thank my colleague directors and executives and the team members of tTech, whose combined efforts have made 26 such a memorable year for tTech. I also want to acknowledge and thank our customers for their continued support. And I will say that, in my view, tTech has a bright future. We are a young company, and we will have our ups and downs. But I'm confident that our prospects are bright, and our long-term potential is yet to be realized. Thank you.